A caretaker finds herself pregnant by the affluent man she's tending to, thrusting both their families into a complex situation. Wanda arrives at a bus station where she's met by Greggy, who escorts her to his family's villa where his mother, Elsa, warmly receives her. Back at her duties, Wanda assists Joseph, Elsa's husband, who has suffered a stroke. As she helps him, he complains about his previous caregiver treating him too childishly. Passing by Greggy, Wanda notices him showing off a new taxidermy owl. Later, Elsa provides Wanda with an audio monitor linked to Joseph's room and asks for help with additional household chores and planning Joseph's birthday party. This extra workload wasn't initially agreed upon, so Wanda negotiates for a salary increase. Settling into her room that evening, Wanda hears Greggy outside mimicking bird calls, which amuses her. The next day, Wanda fulfills her duties diligently, even taking Joseph outside for some fresh air. To stay grounded, she watches videos of her children during breaks. At night, Joseph calls for Wanda, prompting her to attend to him. He hands her money without a word, and she locks the door, understanding his unspoken desires. The following day, Elsa checks on her husband and spots Wanda swimming in the lake from the window. Joseph remarks on Elsa's past beauty, and she takes it as a compliment. Soon after, Wanda enters Elsa's room to collect laundry and sees her trying on a dress. Wanda compliments her, encouraging her to embrace dressing up more often. However, Elsa feels her time for vanity has passed and insists Wanda take one of her dresses as a gift. Wanda selects a dress for Joseph's birthday. However, Elsa confesses she hasn't informed the guests that Wanda works for them, requesting her to remain in the kitchen during the party. Later, Greggy reads birthday letters to his father while Wanda tends to Joseph. Hearing about the mayor's well wishes, Wanda remarks on Joseph's popularity, to which he attributes to his ability to keep people happy. Sophie arrives with her husband, Manfred, who has to leave abruptly due to a call, sparking tension between them. Joseph becomes dizzy, prompting Wanda to assist him to his room, where he clings to her hand while Sophie and Manfred argue outside. During the afternoon, Elsa questions Sophie about Manfred's sudden departure, but Sophie insists he left for a client meeting. They observe Greggy teasing Wanda as she works outside, leading Elsa to speculate about her son's feelings for Wanda, while Sophie sees it differently, suspecting Wanda of manipulating Greggy. Just as Joseph calls for Wanda to join him for supper, Sophie steps in to assist him. Despite her efforts, Joseph insists on Wanda's presence, even tossing away his fork in frustration. Meanwhile, while cleaning Sophie's room, Wanda notices her laptop on and seizes the chance to call her children, assuring them of her return in a few months. Their conversation is interrupted by Wanda's father, Powell. Sophie walks in, prompting Wanda to apologize for using her laptop. However, Sophie reacts by kicking over Wanda's bucket of water, leaving Wanda to clean up the mess. Later that evening, as the party begins, Elsa announces Joseph's absence due to a dizzy spell, receiving praise for her attentive care. Upstairs, Joseph listens to the festivities from his darkened room. Meanwhile, tension erupts at the table as Greggy abruptly leaves, followed by Sophie. In the kitchen, Wanda observes Greggy with a wine bottle as Sophie confronts him for disappointing their mother, while Greggy defends Joseph's absence. Exhausted by family tensions, Greggy drinks leftover wine after the party. Hearing his bird calls, Wanda joins him, and they row a boat on the lake. The next morning, Wanda discovers money from Joseph, but Sophie interrupts, claiming her father has been calling for Wanda. Accused of theft, Wanda hides the money, inadvertently dropping a bill. Sophie confiscates Wanda's passport and reports the incident to Elsa, who checks for missing money. Greggy arrives and questions Wanda about the money's origin. Pressured, Wanda reveals Joseph's gift, sparking a family interrogation to conceal the truth. Wanda discreetly signals Joseph to fabricate a story about lending money for her parents' farm, presented as an investment. Elsa orders Sophie to apologize begrudgingly, returning the money afterward. Joseph chuckles, but Wanda, overwhelmed, decides to leave. Despite her initial departure, Wanda returns weeks later, accompanied by Elsa. However, she suddenly feels nauseous and vomits on the roadside, which Elsa attributes to car sickness. Back at the villa, Elsa observes Greggy's contentment as he watches Wanda care for Joseph. Suddenly, Joseph stands from his wheelchair, announcing he's going to be a father, prompting Wanda to flee inside. Realizing the implications, Elsa pushes Joseph into the lake and retreats to her room in distress. Meanwhile, Greggy helps Joseph back to his room, where Joseph insists he didn't force Wanda. This revelation shocks Greggy, who is then ordered to fetch Wanda. Sophie attempts to reason with her mother, but Elsa locks them out, convinced Wanda is a gold digger framing Joseph. Elsa discloses her own fertility struggles after Greggy, admitting she unjustly blamed Joseph out of shame. Troubled, Sophie contacts Manfred, who initially finds the situation absurd, but is compelled to come by his wife's insistence. Amidst this, Wanda watches a video of an unexpected cow delivery, which prompts Greggy to confront her. Unable to initiate the conversation, Wanda diffuses the tension with her child's painting of the cow. Greggy expresses regret for buying the cow upon learning Joseph lent Wanda money for it, suspecting she kept the extra cash for herself. Wanda candidly admits to servicing Joseph for financial support for her children. Greggy, overwhelmed, professes his love, but Wanda, unable to reciprocate. Upstairs, Sophie urges Joseph to talk to Elsa, but he insists on accepting the child as his own, akin to Sophie. Frustrated, Sophie leaves to clear her mind. Meanwhile, Wanda ponders her situation and decides to write a letter to Elsa. The family gathers to read the letter, discovering Wanda's assumption of Joseph's sterility and her pregnancy. While Sophie believes Wanda's motives are solely financial, Manfred, a lawyer, warns that a third heir could complicate inheritance and suggests paying Wanda off. Despite the tension, Manfred suggests confirming Wanda's pregnancy before taking further action. The next morning, Wanda takes a test with Sophie, confirming the pregnancy. Meanwhile, Manfred tries persuading Joseph to take a paternity test, but Joseph refuses, preferring divorce over losing the child. Elsa overhears Joseph's outburst, causing her to storm out. Greggy finds her vandalizing his boat and intervenes, offering to take the blame as the baby's father. Elsa declines, confessing she suspected Wanda's pregnancy. She believes money is the solution. Meanwhile, downstairs, Wanda calls her mother, Irina, who advises her to tell her father. Passing the phone to Powell, Wanda tearfully informs him of her pregnancy. As tensions escalate, Joseph finally approaches his grieving wife, seeking forgiveness for his actions and expressing regret for potentially not being there for their child. Despite Joseph's insistence on their familial connection, Elsa remains resolute in her decision to divorce him, storming out of the room to find Sophie intoxicated and dancing downstairs. Sophie reveals her own infertility and plans for divorce, prompting Elsa to make a similar decision. Upstairs, Greggy attempts to console his mother, advocating for the intangible value beyond money. He finds Joseph in her place, who offers fatherly advice, suggesting Greggy pursue his own desires rather than follow his father's path. As the night progresses, Elsa and Sophie find solace in dancing, while Manfred and Greggy release their frustrations in the snow. Meanwhile, Wanda prepares to depart, having made her decision. The next morning, Joseph discovers Manfred in the snow, surrounded by Greggy's discarded belongings, while Elsa and Sophie sleep on the couch. Greggy finds a note from Wanda, signaling her departure. Concerned, the family wonders about her absence, but Manfred reveals a plan he believes will benefit everyone. Months later, Sophie joyfully welcomes Wanda back, informing her of Manfred's arrangements. Wanda learns she'll stay in Greggy's renovated room turned nursery. Sophie eagerly discusses plans for the baby, indicating her excitement. Later, Wanda meets Joseph outside, where he pledges to acknowledge and support their child. Elsa invites Wanda inside, where Manfred presents her with half her payment and paperwork, establishing him as the father. The family agrees to adopt the child with Wanda as the surrogate. At dinner, tensions rise when Wanda's parents arrive, disapproving of the adoption plan. Joseph asserts his paternity, stunning Powell, who insists the child belongs to their family. Overwhelmed by the prospect of his grandchild, Powell decides to stay. Irina urges Powell to prioritize the collective benefit over pride, reminding him of the substantial payment offered. Reluctantly, Powell concedes. Meanwhile, Joseph attempts to call Wanda, but she is asleep with her children. Elsa tends to her husband, fostering their reconciliation and rekindling their relationship. Later, Joseph milks the cow, only to collapse upon returning home. Elsa rushes to his aid as he passes away. The next morning, Reggie returns to pay his respects to his peacefully resting father. Outside, he and Wanda reflect on their changed lives, interrupted by Powell and Manfred guiding the cow into a truck. As they corral the cow, Wanda unexpectedly goes into labor. With Greggy's assistance, they deliver the baby in the nursery. As Wanda joins the family for lunch, Powell questions Wanda about her decision to give up her daughter. Wanda explains that none of them have stable employment, and the money she earns will ensure a secure future for her sons. Relenting, her father drops the matter. Shortly after, Elsa's family prepares to scatter Joseph's ashes on the lake, but Henriette continues crying. Suddenly, Wanda leaves the villa with Henriette. Sophie and Manfred pursue her, demanding their child back, but Wanda quietly refuses and flees. Powell and Irina try to persuade Sophie to return the child, but she refuses, asserting her autonomy. Renaming the baby Anna, Wanda declares her desire to make her own decisions. Sophie is upset, but Elsa suggests it may be for the best. Meanwhile, the family rushes to save the sinking boat, carrying Joseph's ashes, leaving Wanda and Sophie behind. Sophie, fueled by her emotions, abruptly dives in and swims to scatter her father's ashes, determined to take action independently. Returning to shore, she ignores everyone's presence, walking away stiffly. However, the following day, preparations are made for departure. Manfred bids farewell to Wanda's family before driving off with Sophie. As Wanda assists her parents in readying the car, Elsa, feeling isolated, Wanda bids her final farewells before departing with her sons, leaving Elsa feeling the weight of loneliness. Rushing to Wanda, Elsa pleads for her to stay, expressing her fear of being alone. Elsa assures Wanda that Anna, Joseph's child, will remain with the family. Here, the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more recaps. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, take care and stay awesome.